Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is Black Friday 2016, and yes, right, we're back already hitting you with another video. We're trying to get back on our regular schedule of every weekend doing the show now that we sort of, like I said, mellowed out the sleep and school, depositing of kids and whatnot. So obviously the kids are off school. They're over at Grandma's house this weekend, so I have nothing but time as far as not having to chase kids around. So what do we got this video? Well, it should be shorter than the last one since we're not covering 2 weeks worth of stuff, but there were some kit announcements out of Aoshima for January and February, and then we have the kit releases for this week and a few little teases and a couple product announcements we're going to cover real quick as well. So on the kit announcement side of things, the stuff that Aoshima listed for January is just a few little tag-on kits. Their January schedule is pretty much already set as it was. But they're adding to that schedule, which, we'll cover in January when that rolls around again, because we've talked about it in the past. They're going to be adding several Best Car Vintage kits. I don't understand how these keep selling. But, again, they're sort of the only way to get these versions of these cars. So, you take what you get, I guess. And they are the Nissan Cedric 330 2000 SGLE, the Nissan Cedric 430 280E Brougham, and the Nissan Cedric Y30 V30 Turbo Brougham. Now, what those are all the same car, basically, the Nissan Cedric, and there are 3 generations of them running from the, I want to say, mid to late 70s through the late 1980s. After the Y30 Cedric, actually, the Y31 Cedric would be the actual late 80s into the very early 90s kit, and that was still also on the old sort of crappy chassis thing. Once you got to the Y32 and the Y33 Cedrics and Glorias, those were actually pretty nice modern kits, but of course, those aren't around. They haven't reissued those for a while. And then, as far as February goes, you have some stuff that is being, already announced, being packaged into the new boxing series that we're always talking about with the model car and the tuned model car, as well as the tuned parts series. So to cover that real quick, the tuned model car, they're going to be doing a reissue of the 2003 Honda Odyssey DAD VIP van. It's a VIP wagon, but VIP van. And the 2008 Toyota Crown Athlete Am-Gain VIP it's almost a tuned car more than it is a VIP car. It's definitely more sporty looking than it is, just slam VIP car, if you will. Of course, this is also, it's a Crown Athlete, so it's sporty. And then on the tuned model car side of things, or the model car side of things, rather, they're going to be reissuing the 1975 Nissan Fairlady S30 Aero. That's that car with the orange car on the box with the fender flares and all that stuff. That was an old kit that they revived in 2012 to make it into this Aero thing. Kind of interesting to see that it's in the model car rather than the tuned model car, since it's not really a factory stock vehicle, but, be that as it may. That kit, of course, that seems to get reissued every time, somebody changes their laundry over there. They're going to be reissuing the 1989 Nissan Skyline GTS-T. That is the 4-door version of the R32 Skyline. That does come with an engine insert. That kit's been around a couple of times in the last couple of years, but I don't think it's currently in the catalog. They're going to reissue their Nissan Fairlady 350Z. That is what they're calling the convertible 2005-2007. Now, that is not an actual convertible. There's never been a convertible kit for the 350Z or the 370Z, but it comes with the parts to allow you to either build it as a 2005 or a 2007. And then last but not least, they're going to be reissuing their 1989 Nissan SEMA with some new parts added to it to make it into an Impulse 731S VIP tuner type of vehicle. There's going to be a new set of wheels. There's going to be a new spoiler, and I believe there's going to be like a new ground effects kit. There's like 3 things, and I didn't write down what all 3 things were, but I'm spoiler, wheels, and there's something else. Like I said, it's going to be like a new front air dam or something like that. This Nissan SEMA hasn't been out for a really long time. This is sort of the generation after the Nissan SEMA that has the engine insert that seems to get reissued about once every 18 months or so. So it'd be interesting to see what that's going to look like as far as the new parts go. And then there's going to be 4 sets of 20-inch wheels that are going to be put into the tuned parts series, and they are the Linea Sport LG or L612s, the SSR Professor VF1s, the Workschwert SC4, as it were, and the 20-inch version of the BBS LMs, which are a nice set of wheels, because I actually happen to have a set. For anybody who follows along, religiously knows that I've bought that set to replace a set of VIP wheels for a Lexus project that is, somewhere in the offing. And then that brings us up to a few kit teases. Well, actually, one kit tease, I guess, and that will be this. This is a decal test from BMAX for their new AE92 Toyota Levin Group A race car. Hobby Easy is listing a December 20th release date for this. It seems to be a fairly firm one, since I've talked to a few other people and they're all like, hey, it's going to come out before Christmas. Now, all those people, of course, are over in Hong Kong or Japan, and so they, will get it regardless of what happens before us. But it's not available for pre-order on HobbyLink Japan or Hobby Search as of yet. But it'll probably pop up Monday if it's really going to come out before Christmas. But now you've gone from feast to famine with your race car things. You didn't really have too many race cars to work with. They had all been released, over time, but nothing has been really, really recently, other than like the reissues of the Tamiya Alfa Romeo DTM cars. So now you got the M3 that just came out. Now you're going to have this that's going to come out in about a month, and then you're going to have the M3, or the M6 rather, GT3 car that's also going to come out like 2-3 days after the Levin if it comes out on time. So now it's, been talking to the guys over at SK, and they're like, it's gone from, we're trying to find some stuff to sort of gap the, the divide between releases. They've done a few decals for the DC2 era Honda Integra, but there's no real race car kit of that. You sort of have to make your own race car interior for it using the Fujimi kit. They've also made 3 or 4 sets recently for the Toyota Altezza, which is another car that Fujimi made a race car kit for that's nearly impossible to find, but they weren't really race cars. They were just, street cars with decals. And so there's actually a guy over in Hong Kong who's working on a resin conversion kit to actually turn the Altezza kit into the race car kit, at least on the outside, because the race car kit has completely different bumpers and wheels and stuff than the actual Fujimi kit does. Be interested to see if they're going to do anything with the interior as far as making a racing interior for it. But, they said it was just some stuff that was interesting. I would buy the decals if there was a base kit to operate from. And now, like I said, the M3, this Levin, the M6, it's all, it's all coming at once here. So, it's a good time to be alive in the race car genre right now. And then 2 things from Tamiya that they're the Tamiya USA announced this week that are going to actually be carried here in the United States for a change. And these are products that you could buy if you could find a vendor who would ship them from Japan or China. And since they're toxic chemicals, that would take a while. You'd have to have it surface transported in a container ship. It couldn't go on airplanes. And that is the acrylic paint retarder. This is, makes the paint dry slower, and this is probably one of the biggest complaints I personally have about Tamiya's X18, the semi-gloss black. If you're trying to brush paint that, it's just a mess because it dries so fast, and you end up with it really is a blotchy looking result if you try to brush paint a large area. And it's fine to brush paint some suspension components or a drive shaft or something like that. But if you try to brush paint, or even airbrushing is not too bad because you got to thin it anyway. But if you try to brush paint a chassis, for example, you get the weather we're having here in Pennsylvania, where it's alternately cold and or raining, snowing, and it's just not quite warm enough to actually shoot spray paint. In a pinch, if you need to paint a chassis, well, you can brush paint the chassis. Get a good size number 5 or something brush like that. But you always get this mottled looking result because the paint is drying faster. Well, this retarder you can add to the paint in like a 1:10 ratio, and it'll help slow the paint down. So that's a nice thing to have. And also, they're going to be finally distributing here officially in the United States their panel line accent colors, which comes in like gray, brown, and black. That's always something you've had to get from Japan directly if you wanted to purchase it, because or you had to find somebody here in the United States who stocked it by getting it from Japan directly rather than buying it through the normal channels of Tamiya's distribution here in the United States or in North America in general. So they're finally basically what this all means is they finally got them labeled in California, because as far as that goes, that's why Tamiya spray paint got pulled for a little while, and why the clear, the TS13 was gone for such a long time, was all to conform to California packaging laws. So thanks to the West Coast, you guys, you want to go ahead and Amscray and secede from the union, go right ahead, because then I don't have to worry about losing paint and nonsense because some hippie in Santa Barbara doesn't like spray paint. So that takes us to the kit releases for this week, and they are several things from Revell. Of course, we told you that one should be up here. And then looking at the stuff here, it's a bunch of reissues from Aoshima as well. The Revell kits. So there's one little surprise in here that nobody was really expecting because it wasn't on the kit release for this month, and that is the custom Cadillac Lowrider. Yeah, so this kit was a fourth quarter kit, and everybody's sort of expecting it to come out in the Christmas batch of stuff. And for some reason, it got shipped early, and Revell distributed it early without telling anyone. Because if you go to the Revell website, or any Revell attached social media, there's no mention of this kit in existence. But sure enough, it is out there, and it is available. You got to go to your local hobby shop for this. I'm not sure when Michael really doesn't carry much of anything, at least around here. But I'm not sure when Hobby Lobby is going to pick this up necessarily. They were on eBay for like half of this week, and now they're all gone again. So your hobby shop is probably your best bet for this, or a online hobby shop that carries some stock. I'm unsure if this was like an early shipment and there was only so much of it, and then they'll come out next month in regular, or if this is just the regular one and they're going that fast. I personally don't understand this kit. It's not a particular. I know it's a real popular kit for the lowrider guys, and kudos to you for having your kit back. But it doesn't represent any specific year of Cadillac, because the front end doesn't belong to the back end as far as that goes. And it's a die cast. The plastic poured through the molds. It's not even that great a model kit to begin with. I'm assuming there's parts you can source here. I don't know. I've never got this kit. Why, A, it's so popular, and B, why it sells like it does. It's like everybody sees this kit come back and they all like tackle it like they're going Black Friday shopping, and it's the last TV set for $50 or something like that. This is supposed to be like a regular run of this kit. It's not like a short run or anything else like that. Somebody's complaining, well, this kit only comes around for like 3 weeks and then it's gone again. Well, that's because all you guys buy them all. And, Revell's certainly happy to have that happen. And I don't care one way or the other because I don't want one in the first place. But that's the reason. It's not like Revell's only making 20 of them and, or 500 like the Streetle Beetle Auto World exclusive from AMT. No, they're running them in like a 5,000 run kit, and they sell out that fast, or at least they sell out of Hobbico and the distribution chain that fast. There's always a lot of stuff that sells out and you can't find from Revell's often in your local hobby shop if you just go look there instead of trying to shop online, because for the 29 and the 30 Fords that were gone because the tooling is damaged and whatnot, there's still people picking them up every other day from a Hobby Lobby over here or their local hobby shop over there. I'm pretty sure my local hobby shop still has them. They're not out of, unobtainium. They're just not in the main distribution channels. They've been distributed out. The warehouse doesn't have any more of them, but you have to go find them if you want one. Another Revell release for this week is the 2016 Corvette Stingray. This is the unpainted version of the pre-paint kit. I'm interested to see what the contents of this kit look like. Not so much interested. I got to go run out and buy one right this instant. But it was saying it was molded in color, which sort of defeats the point of it not being pre-painted, at least in my mind, especially if it's molded in red. Now, I'm not one of those guys that's all like, it can't be molded red because I'll never be able to paint it another color, and it's going to bleed through and all that nonsense about old paint technology. But the point of these undecorated pre-painted kits was to mold them in white so you can paint them whatever color you wanted it to, not molded in, the pre-painted one was red and now the molded in red. Why? What is the point of that? I also find very amusing that this is a 54-part kit, which of course, leads in the whole thing of new Revell modern tool kits are toys. It's the other thing is that the really toy-like C7R race car with its herpes brakes and all that stuff has more parts than this does, I assume because of the roll cage. Why Corvettes are being done like this? I mean, it's lot of people I know that are into like 1/1 Corvettes say that this is the best looking Corvette for several generations. So we're gonna give it the shaft over at Revell because that's what we do. Last kit for Revell this month, and this is something that I'm actually interested in as well, is the Kenworth K100 reissue. A lot of people were like, yeah, we're bringing it back, blah, blah, blah. Revell of Germany reissued it not that long ago. I don't understand. Well, the Revell of Germany had a Revell of Germany price. The price tag on the Kenworth right now on a regular hobby shop level, because I've talked to a few people who picked them up that way, is $49.99. Yeah, $50 is a lot for a model kit, but you know what? Trucks are more expensive than cars are in general. It is 284 pieces. It's a lot of model kit in that box. Obviously, you'll be able to pick it up for less than that through, like, you know, your normal discount online sales places, as well as, you know, any kind of show vendor. Like I have my local hobby shop show vendor guy who sells at, you know, wholesale plus 40%. It'll probably put it in the mid 40s for you. And it's not a bad price considering that the Revell of Germany reissue of this kit from 2012 or 2013 was like 2 times as much. It was $89.99. So there is a savings in having it repackaged in the USA box. Well, actually, it is a USA kit in general, but having it actually reissued by Revell here in the United States. I know there's some people griping it's not the Aerodyne version. Maybe that'll come later now that this has been run through and, you know, the molds still hold. We'll see about that. And then, I guess I said that takes us over to the fine country of Japan, and we have some Aoshima reissues. We'll just plow through this stuff real quick because none of it is really all that you know, pertinent as far as being new. There are the 2 new boxings in the Tuned Model Car series, and they are the I'm not sure what year this is. Hang on, I gotta go take a peek here. Why do I not see this on my sheet? Because I probably didn't write it down with the year. Oh, my goodness. No, I didn't write down the year. So, anyway, this is 2008, I want to believe, or 2004, maybe. Toyota Celsior for the fabulous VIP tuning. Here, put a picture up so I can look off camera without, you know, being just puzzled. I can't believe I didn't write down the year for this. This is just so amusing to me. Ah, it's a 2003. Ah, so there. Back to me. It's a regular VIP car. This, as I said, is a reissue of something that's been done before several times as far as just the kit itself, and it's being reissued in this new, the Tuned Model Car series. And then the other Tuned Model Car that has come out this week is this 2010 Hot DNA VIP Toyota Hiace. I like the faux woody paneling. Fortunately, this no longer says American style or USA style on the side of it because, you know, we've talked about this in the past when these Hiace VIP vans get reissued. We don't have the Hiace in the United States, so how's it a USA style? Anyway, it's a reissue of, again, another existing kit that's been around for a little while. And then some other stuff that has been reissued this week. We have the Best Car Vintage version of the Subaru Sambar, the Akabar food vending truck, for lack of a better term. You also have the reissue of the Mazda RX-7 FD3S Veilside Combat model. And my personal favorite tuned R34, the Mines Nissan Skyline R34 GTR. Just always a personal preference of mine. I love the way this car looks in general. I know Mines could customize your car any way you wanted it to, so you didn't have to get it in a white pearl, but I still like this car and just for general purposes has BBS wheels. And the BBS wheels that Aoshima have are like, you know, 2-piece. The front lips are separate, so you can easily paint the actual wheel itself, whatever color you want it to be, and then have the chrome lip back without having to mask everything off. That's always a nice feature. And then there's several reissues from the Liberty Walk series. These kits were supposed to come out back in, let me see here, it's been a couple of months. They're supposed to come out in August. These were supposed to be August releases that have just now been reissued. And they are the Liberty Walk Japan Works 4-door Skyline. Here, let me go back and get my notes out from actual from actual August. Yeah, this is the 4-door Skyline. The original kit. This is the number 1 of the all the various Liberty Walk kits that have been done. And then the next one is the Ken and Mary Skyline. This is like the 73-ish Skyline, done in the tribute to the Japan Grand Prix race car. And then the next one here is the Hakosuka Works 1960s Skyline. I kind of like the looks of this car. I'm not really into the whole Liberty Walk over fender things on older cars per se, but I kind of like the looks of this car. And then last but not least is the very popular 2014 Ken and Mary 73 Skyline in the old powder blue. Like I've said before, I really wish this car had a real chassis underneath of it and had a interior that more closely resembled the actual car. The exterior is pretty close on, because this is a really, really cool car in real life, and it's very, interesting to see them model it. So, at any rate, guys, I think that would be that. Let me move around my mouse so I can get my screen back so I can shut the video off. We will be back, I believe. I'm going to take a look at the calendar here, because I've, working night shift, you lose track completely what days it is. Yeah, so we'll be back first, allegedly, with the December compilation video, because the first is before next Friday. That all depends on what Revell's release, schedule is. There should only be one thing from Revell for December as far as cars go, and that would be the reissue of the Black Widow 57 Chevy 150 kit. Now that the Cadillac Lowrider came out early, so there's another prop for Revell there. You're going to, there's nothing to talk about for you guys for next month. And then on Friday, Saturday, sometime into the weekend, we'll do our, regular show for the stash report. And there should be a few more kits coming out. Let me take a peek at the notes here. There's three more Aoshima kits that are set to come out. Tamiya still hasn't reissued their Alfa Romeo reissues that they're doing for this month, and then there will be a couple of round 2 kits that still have not come out, and then that'll be it, and we'll be into December, and the December release list is a full page. There is quite a bit of stuff coming out of round 2 before Christmas, or around Christmas, by the time, it gets shipped out, so I know there's some very interesting things in there. For a lot of the drag fans, yes, not the, cross-dressing fans, but the people who like drag racing. Lots of stuff there. Actually, I think there'll be 2 kits and all that I actually will look at picking up eventually. So tease for next week. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving here in the United States. You have a great holiday weekend regardless. Get back to work on Monday and try to work off all the calories that you got. And we'll see you guys on the other side.